My wife lied about a conference, then slept with our doctor in Vegas, so I let her unwrap the truth as her Christmas gift in front of everyone. After 38 years of marriage, 3 grown children with families of their own, and 5 precious grandchildren, she does this to me? I've spent my entire life working myself to the bone just to finally be debt-free, with only 2 years left until retirement. She told me she had to go to Arizona for an educators' conference that she was required to attend. I even dropped her lying ass off at the airport, planning to pick her up again on Thursday. But then a co-worker of mine, who happens to be in Vegas for a PBR event, sends me a photo. There she is, standing in a damn casino, arm in arm with our primary care doctor. That's right, not a conference, not Arizona, Vegas, with him. And now it's Christmas. All the kids are coming here. I've been looking forward to hunting with my son and grandsons. It's the only thing keeping me together. I don't know whether to blow this whole thing up right now, or play it cool until the holidays are over. Maybe I could gather more proof, pick her up like nothing happened, pretend everything's fine, but I don't know if I have the strength for that. The alternative is ruining Christmas for my children and grandchildren. This woman who just sang a solo in church last Sunday, got on a plane the next day to go spend a week screwing our doctor. I never once suspected her of cheating. Not once in over 40 years together. And I never cheated, ever. I really believed we had something solid. I guess that security was a lie. I thank God my parents aren't around to see this betrayal. Part of me wants to get on a plane tomorrow and bust them both right there. They're probably registered under fake names. The worst part is, my brothers are gone. Both of them. I don't have anyone I can talk to about this. Maybe the pastor. Hell, she's probably screwing him too. I hired a lawyer and a private investigator today. We all met this afternoon at the attorney's office, and they both laid out a plan of action. I arranged for her sister to pick her up from the airport tomorrow. I've taken off to my hunting camp for a few days. So far I've managed not to tell her I know. It's killing me not to confront either of them, but holding back lets me protect myself better and gather more evidence. I can't sue the doctor for alienation of affection, but I will do everything in my power to ruin his future. I'm going home tonight. Her mother is 84, widowed for 12 years, and she'll be heartbroken if she finds out what her daughter's done. My wife has 3 married sisters, all in long-term marriages. They're coming to our house for Christmas dinner tomorrow. Ever since my father-in-law passed, I've grilled steaks for them every Christmas. If I skip out this year, it'll raise red flags. I considered faking the flu and staying here at camp, but in the end, I decided to go home. If I don't, it'll ruin the plans I made with my son and grandsons for our annual pre-Christmas hunting trip. I still haven't confronted her. We've spoken a little, mostly through text. I'm almost sure she suspects nothing. I gave the house and gate code to the PI and he brought in an IT guy. Somehow they were able to access her desktop computer while she was at work. Now, he's even receiving her texts through my cloud. I have no clue how he did it, but he did. I don't stay in daily contact with the PI or the lawyer, so I'm not fully sure what all they've found yet. I've got a meeting with both of them next Friday morning, 1 week from tomorrow. It's hard enough keeping my rage in check with what I already know. I'm beginning to think I might be overspending on the PI, but my lawyer insists I keep collecting evidence until I'm ready to confront her. Hopefully, after next Friday's meeting, I'll have everything I need and can stop paying him. I always go to the camp the week before and after Christmas. She won't think anything of it. If I can keep myself from smacking the life out of her when I get home, I'll head back out Sunday. That's when my son and grandsons arrive for our annual hunt. Just like every year, I haven't laid eyes on her in nearly 2 weeks. I never imagined the love I had for this woman could twist into such disgust and hatred. But here we are. Here's my plan. After Christmas lunch, we'll open gifts with the kids and grandkids. I'm going to wrap the evidence from the PI like a present and make sure she opens it last. Then I'll calmly ask her to show it to our children. I'll take her phone and walk out. Next stop, the doctor's house. His wife will get the same gift, every last bit of proof. Then I'll file for divorce, on the grounds of infidelity. Thanks for letting me share this in real time. This has been the only outlet I have, and it means more than you know. I came home from the camp last Thursday evening. She was already back. I was worn out from the lack of sleep, and our interaction was minimal. Friday night we hosted our Christmas gathering with her mother and 3 sisters at our house. I managed to pull it off without raising any suspicions, On Saturday, I stayed out most of the day. After church on Sunday, I went straight back to camp. My son and my oldest grandson joined me that night. We hunted all week together, and I returned home tonight. We don't have any specific plans for tomorrow, but our children and grandchildren will attend church with us on Sunday. Then we'll gather at the house for Christmas lunch and gifts. I've kept my emotions in check so well that no one suspects the life-altering reality I'm facing. But I've decided to change how I'll reveal her affair. I'm not going to confront her on Christmas. Instead, I have an appointment with my attorney Tuesday morning. I'll collect all the evidence gathered by him and the investigator, along with the finalized divorce papers. My plan is to have my son and 2 daughters come over that evening for a family meeting. I'll confront her and expose the affair to everyone at the same time. As for how I'll deal with the doctor and his wife, I'm still undecided. But make no mistake, my intention is to ruin his reputation and destroy his career by every legal and ethical means I can access. Thanks again for the continued support. We made it through Christmas with the kids, grandkids, and in-laws. On Monday morning, I met with my pastor and told him everything. He arranged for me to meet with the doctor's wife. Together, we agreed to confront our spouses that same night and demanded they each write a detailed letter about the affair. I confronted my wife Monday night. I didn't let her say a single word at first. I told her I knew she had gone to Vegas, and I knew who she was with. I told her to write everything down, every detail. I warned her that if anything in her letter contradicted the evidence I had, reconciliation would be off the table. On Tuesday morning, I met with my attorney. I collected all the evidence and received more legal advice. That afternoon, I went to the AP's workplace and demanded his termination. He was fired that same day. Tuesday night, I called a family meeting. My kids came over and their mother told them the truth herself. They were shocked, heartbroken. She ended up leaving with our daughter and has been staying with her ever since. I'm still weighing my next move. I see no real path to reconciliation, but I want to be absolutely certain before taking further steps. She confessed to everything. Every specific detail I asked for was in that letter. I appreciate all the messages of support. I'm doing okay, all things considered. I'll try to answer some of the questions I've received. Did I ask her why? Of course I did. She said she didn't know. She described herself as an addict, said she knew she was ruining her life, but couldn't stop. She told our children that no child should ever have to feel disappointed or ashamed of their mother's actions. She admitted they didn't deserve the pain she caused. One of them told her directly, "It would have been easier to bury you than go through this." The other 2 agreed. I care more about protecting the next woman whose husband this man might come on to. I'm not sorry for getting him fired. Every situation is different, shaped by people, timing, and emotions. I might have handled this differently if it happened at a different point in my life, and let me say this, it's real easy to act like you've got all the answers when you're hiding behind a keyboard. Some of you sound like experts online, but show very little compassion when it comes to real pain in real life. That said, I do appreciate the advice, truly, even if some comments come without knowing the full story. A few responses have been a genuine source of strength. One Redditor in particular has been a well of insight, empathy, and encouragement. I can't thank him enough. It's strange, honestly, me forming a connection with someone completely anonymous, but somehow, he just gets it. And right now that means more than I can put into words. I think that covers most of the questions I remember. I'm going to browse a few subreddits for a while. So hell, ask me whatever you want. It's not like I'm spending quality time with my wife. She's not here. Oh, and for those wondering why she's at my daughter's house and not with her own mother, her dad passed years ago, and her mom is 84. I didn't want her mother to have to deal with this mess, so she's at my youngest daughter's home. They don't have kids yet, which makes it easier. And let me tell you, there is zero chance of her turning any of my kids against me, especially not my baby girl. That girl is fire. She's 10 years younger than her sister, 12 years younger than her brother, and she spent more time sitting beside me in a deer stand, fishing boat, work truck, and office than I could ever count. She won't even let anyone say bad things about me if they're true, let alone if they're lies. The first text I found from him to her said, "How does it feel to be the most beautiful person in any room you walk into?" It was sent after a funeral we all attended. Disgusting. I can't even wrap my head around it. My sister-in-law told me something my mother once said after my wife got breast implants about 30 years ago. My mom said, "She'll be showing those new things to someone else." I brushed it off then, but I can't now. not after everything. I don't know how I'll ever get over the image of her on her knees with that man. She's always been beautiful, and people have told her that her whole life. But time's catching up, and I don't think she can handle it. She's done a good job keeping ahead of aging, but that's a race no one wins. I haven't told her what I plan to do next. I assume she's in the dark. My daughter said her phone's dead, and she hasn't been in touch with anyone except our kids. So maybe she truly doesn't know. The AP's wife called me after learning he was fired and told me she was coming after my wife's job next. I had warned my wife when I confronted her. His wife knew everything, and she was demanding answers too, in letter form, the same way I had. I had a younger brother, 14 years younger than me. He was a college professor, lived 8.5 hours from our hometown. He died in a motorcycle accident back in 2017, left behind one daughter. She's 24 now, married, and living in another state. But she came back this week to introduce her baby to her mother and in-laws. Her mom, my sister-in-law, never remarried. I called her last night to see when my niece was heading back. Turns out she's staying this week with her husband's family, who live about 40 minutes away from my sister-in-law. My kids have been smothering me lately, so I've decided to take a road trip. I'm going to meet my great-nephew. He's named after my brother and me. I'll get there late tonight. When I asked my sister-in-law to book me a hotel, she replied, "There is no way in hell that's happening. You're staying here, and we're going to watch movies and eat ice cream." God bless her. I don't know when I'll come back. I haven't spoken to, seen, or had any form of contact with my wife since Tuesday night. Her number is blocked. I called my son to let him know where I was going and asked him to swing by the office. We've got a rental property, newly renovated and ready to sell. I told him to tell his mother she could go to our house, take what she wants or needs, and move into the rent house. She'll be paying rent to my son, and he'll pay my company. I'm also having a new keypad installed on the gate and doors this Wednesday. So if she needs to grab anything, now's the time. When I called my sister-in-law, I told her I'd be coming alone to visit my niece and her baby. She asked why my wife wasn't joining me. I just said, "There are some issues. I'll explain when I get there." I arrived around midnight. She had just pulled a hot pound cake from the oven, and I swear, it was the best thing I'd eaten in weeks. We sat in her quiet kitchen, and that's when I told her everything. Every detail of the chaos I've been living through. I don't know yet what sharing all of it will cost me, but in that moment, I needed someone to carry the weight with me. I've teared up a few times since getting here, but when I laid everything out for her, I finally broke down. I wept. She wept with me. She was incredibly supportive, stroking my shattered ego, and I guess I felt better afterward. I went upstairs around 3 a.m. and tried to get some sleep. Yesterday morning she cooked me bacon and eggs. As I was eating, she looked at me and said, "You may run the show back home, but not in my house." Then she handed me my schedule for the day. At 1 p.m. I had a haircut appointment. I needed it anyway. I hadn't been in since all this happened, so I agreed. Afterward, she planned to visit her parents. Finally, we agreed not to talk about my problems again until I'm ready to go back home. My middle name is my mother's maiden name, and sure enough, that's how she introduced me to her stylist. During the haircut, the stylist asked where I was from. I told her, "Detroit." There's no way my southern accent could pass for Detroit, but my sister-in-law didn't miss a beat. She jumped in and said, "He's a logger." Next stop, Dillard's. I haven't been shopping in years. Ended up buying 3 pairs of pants, 4 shirts, 2 pairs of shoes, a tie, $75 for a damn tie, and a Hart Schaffner Marx suit. According to her, it's the only brand my brother would wear. I didn't realize he was so particular about his clothes. I even bought a new belt. The suit needed hemming, but she sweet-talked them into doing it while we waited. On the way home, she told me I was going to be her date for both the bonfire and church. At the party, she told me to look at her like I'd look at a new gun, so everyone else would want to buy it. I played along. At the bonfire, though, I was from Atlanta, selling road graders, divorced 4 times. At church this morning, we showed up late and left early. She said she didn't want to get struck by lightning for lying in church. She clung to me the entire time, even held my hand as we walked out. I've genuinely laughed these past 2 days. Laughed hard. I haven't done that in 3 weeks. I've been looking like Dumb and Dumber with my 46-year-old sister-in-law, and I'm not even mad about it. Tomorrow I'll go hunting, and I may stay through Wednesday. I need to be back at work by Friday. I've spoken to my son a few times. He thinks she may need medical help. Apparently she's barely talking and stays holed up in her room at my daughter's house. Her phone's dead, so communication goes through our youngest. The AP's wife sent her a long text, calling her every name under the sun, except a child of God. I haven't talked to my wife. She asked my daughter where I was and said she wouldn't blame me for never forgiving her. My son said she looks like death. I still don't see a path to reconciliation, but I'm not filing for divorce just yet. Some people have said, just file, and if you change your mind, you can reconcile later. That sounds like a waste of time, energy, and money. If I decide to divorce her, it'll be final. No second chances, no looking back. And I won't sue the affair partner unless I go through with the divorce. But if I do, I fully intend to make him help cover the cost. For now, she's under psychiatric evaluation. No visitors allowed outside of immediate family, and no phone contact until the team clears her. I don't want his money. If there's any settlement, it'll be because of necessity, not because I'm after revenge. I've come to terms with the fact that this isn't going to end anytime soon, and honestly, my life will never go back to what it was. I started keeping a journal today. It helps. Putting everything in order by writing it down. Clears my head. Thanks again for the encouragement. It's meant a lot. Yesterday morning my daughters took my wife to the ER. She was severely dehydrated, and her kidney function wasn't where it needed to be. She was also showing signs of confusion. They admitted her, started an IV drip, and said they'd be running more labs today. They've also ordered a psych evaluation. The staff told my daughters to expect her to be hospitalized for most of the week. My son contacted her sisters and let them know she'd been admitted, and that I was out of town. As far as I know, none of them, including her mother, know about the affair yet. I'm planning to go sit down with her mother and oldest sister this weekend. Looking back, I should have done that before I left town on Friday. I'm still at my sister-in-law's place. Spark plug. I hunted yesterday, but it's been raining all day, so I stayed in this morning. Last night's dinner? Fried steak, mashed potatoes with gravy, homemade biscuits, apple cobbler, and ice cream. Lord. She had errands this morning, but before leaving, she told me to be dressed when she got back and ready to do some rambling, whatever that means. I told her, rainy days are good for two things and I'm not sleepy. She shot right back, well, your kids don't need both parents hospitalized for dehydration, so I'm going rambling, I guess. Truthfully, I'm glad I'm here. I don't want to talk to my friends right now. Don't want to be at work either. I've got my laptop and phone with me, and my longtime assistant, who's been with me for 25 years, is handling things. He was the one who actually told me about the Vegas trip. He's aware of the whole situation. Working through all this on Reddit has helped more than I expected. I know some of you might be tired of these updates, and if so, I understand. I've started journaling and can shift there if this becomes too much. But to those still reading, thank you. Many of your messages have been thoughtful, insightful, and honestly helpful. My head is clearer now than it has been since I first saw that picture of her in the AP, and that's no small credit to this community. I called her sister and gave her a basic summary, just enough to explain the affair and how it led to my wife's hospitalization. She was genuinely shocked and incredibly apologetic. She said she was deeply sorry for everything and offered her full support. My mother-in-law is leaving tomorrow with 3 other widowed friends on one of their regular bus tours. My daughters jokingly call them the BHH gang, blue-haired hoes. Her sister told me she wasn't planning to tell her about the affair or the psych evaluation, just that the condition wasn't serious enough for me to return home, and that I was traveling with others. She didn't want to ruin her trip. She also said my mother-in-law had been worried about me, that I didn't seem myself when they left our house, and that I didn't look well. The sisters are stepping up to help, supporting my daughters and daughter-in-law at the hospital. One of them plans to take my wife to stay with her when she's discharged, until she's well enough to move into the rent house. I called my youngest daughter and asked her to go by the office, grab a check, cash it, and buy a card. I asked her to take it to her grandmother's house. There's a name stamp at the office she can use. I told her to write a short note inside. Enjoy your trip. I love you. Funny how Reddit helped me realize I needed to do that. I hadn't even thought of it. Turns out rambling included the grocery store, dry cleaners, paying the electric bill, Home Depot, and, of all things, a trip to a clinic. 15 minutes and $112 later, I had my STD panel clean. Spark plug, in her blunt way, looked at me and said, "Ain't no man with a junkie monkey sleeping in my house." So for those of you worried about me going through that humiliation, rest easy. I'm clean. My wife's kidney function has improved. But per the psych evaluation, she's had a psychotic break. She's confused, doesn't know where she is. She believes we were in a car wreck and that I died. She's upset that my funeral was held without her. She's been crying and mumbling things the doctors can't make sense of. Last night they moved her to a specialized hospital that deals with mental trauma. They expect her to make a full recovery in days or weeks. But for now she can't have visitors, only immediate family, and there's no phone contact allowed until she's cleared by the psychiatric team. Remodeled, she's paying rent to my son, who in turn pays the company. The house is close enough that she can stay connected with the kids and attend outpatient sessions, but it's not our home. That boundary is firm. Contact with anyone outside her care team is still restricted for the next 10 days. My middle daughter is acting as the family liaison and gets updates from the treatment team each afternoon. Until she's cleared, no one else will be allowed to see or speak with her directly. What an unbelievable and unnecessary mess this has turned into. I'm still staying at Spark Plugs. She scheduled me a 9:30 a.m. appointment with the psychiatrist she saw for 2 years after my brother's death. When I got upstairs last night to take a shower, I changed into pajamas and noticed something odd. All of my old white Fruit of the Loom boxers were gone. Replaced. She'd switched them out with boxer briefs from Duluth Trading Company. Bright red, black, neon blue, maroon, dark, and light gray. Each waistband read, "Go Buck Naked." When I asked what the hell happened to my perfectly good drawers, she smirked and said, "The 60s called. They want their ugly underwear back." Then added, "The boys need room to breathe." That woman. I came home Thursday night. That morning, I met with the psychologist my sister-in-law had recommended, the same one who helped her after my brother passed. It was not a great session. To be fair, I came in angry and didn't want to be there. I wasn't comfortable talking to a stranger about my wife's affair. Friday, I had to be at work to attend a contract meeting. My signature was required for a modified agreement. That afternoon I met with my children to talk about their mother's status. The facility treating her requested a discharge plan so they could tailor her remaining treatment. I was very clear. She is not coming home. They need to prepare her to move permanently into the rental house. Her progress over the weekend was encouraging, according to her report. They've also requested that family therapy sessions begin as early as this week. I told my children I will not be attending. I made it clear that her recovery is not my responsibility, and I'm not going to participate in it. I don't think they entirely agree with my decision, but that's the stance I'm taking. I did, however, agree not to file for divorce for at least the next 6 months. Sunday I went to church. Sat right where we've always sat, nearly 40 years in the same spot. None of the AP's family was there. I didn't ask the pastor why. Frankly, I don't give a damn. That afternoon I met with a psychologist recommended by my pastor. He's 74, semi-retired, and works out of a small office behind his home. He laid out a clear plan for the goals he'd like to help me reach. I agreed. I like him, and I'm comfortable with him. We'll be meeting weekly going forward. Wednesday, an investigator from the State Medical Board's examiner's office is coming to take my sworn deposition regarding the AP. The complaint was filed by my attorney. Every step I have to take because of this affair exhausts me. I don't believe my wife is faking the mental breakdown, but even knowing that, it's incredibly hard for me to feel sympathy. I think that gets you caught up. Not much new has happened, but here's a brief summary. My wife is still in treatment. She's agreed to stay for 30 days. She's improving, but my children agree that she still needs inpatient care. I haven't spoken to her directly since December 27th. She withdrew funds from her retirement account to pay for the treatment herself. She's called several times to check on me. She's sad, but she's strong. I continue going to church and holding my head up, even though I'm deeply embarrassed by what she did. My wife was released from the hospital on Tuesday. She moved straight into the rental property my company owns. It's an older place but was recently remodeled and is more than suitable for her needs. Renovated from the stud walls up, the rental house is now completely ready. I still haven't spoken to her directly since December 27th. She's written 2 letters expressing her deep remorse and asking for forgiveness. I haven't replied, aside from asking my children to let her know I've read both letters and that I'll contact her when I'm ready to talk about the past and about what's ahead. We have a woman who's worked as my wife's housekeeper for over 20 years. I sent a crew to our home, and under my daughter's and the housekeeper's direction, they moved one of our bedroom sets and other essentials to set up a livable space for my wife. They also purchased new furniture. Everything was prepared and waiting more than a week before her hospital release. She has now arranged for the housekeeper to assist her every day for as long as needed, which provides both a driver and a daytime caretaker. Her sisters are staying with her overnight and will continue doing so as long as it's necessary. I had supper with my mother-in-law at her home Tuesday night. I explained everything, my perspective, my position, and she was incredibly understanding. She offered me her full support. From what my son told me later, she visited my wife that night and didn't sugarcoat a thing. Evidently, she didn't hold back and gave my wife a full measure of her disappointment. It was their first time discussing the betrayal directly. I'm heading to see Sparkplug tomorrow. She had concert tickets for Saturday night, originally planned with a friend, but the friend had to back out due to a co-worker's funeral. So now, I'm going with her. We're flying to North Carolina Friday afternoon and returning Sunday. I'm looking forward to getting away, doing something different. I think I'll enjoy it. I've actually been enjoying counseling. I look forward to those weekly sessions. They've helped me start organizing the chaos in my mind and life. Here's an update on where I'm at now, thanks to everyone who's followed along and checked in. I continue attending weekly therapy sessions. These have been critical in helping me organize, process, and act on my thoughts, emotions, and plans. People ask how I'm doing. The simplest answer is, I'm fine, but I'm also heartbroken. I'm angry. I feel alone. I'm deeply saddened by what my marriage and life have become. To answer your questions, have you spoken to your wife? Yes. We've had multiple conversations, some private, some with our children, about how we ended up here. We've also talked about the details of the betrayal and what, if anything, lies ahead. I've also attended 2 of her counseling sessions, one alone with her, one with her and our 3 children. No, not at this point. And here are my reasons. This isn't cancer, dementia, or some unavoidable illness. This was self-inflicted. I would have stood by her through anything natural. But this was deliberate. I've made a full financial disclosure to her and to our children. I want my children to see I've been fair. Neither my wife nor I were included in their plans. I think they're trying to find a new normal too.